Thank you. And Ranking Member Bozeman, thanks for holding the hearing to discuss the role producers play in environmental stewardship, conserving our resources, and sequestering carbon, all while continuing to feed a growing population. And I want to thank our witnesses for appearing before the committee today and for your input on this issue. Farmers and ranchers, I would say, have made tremendous progress in increasing efficiency and improving the environmental sustainability of agriculture in recent decades. And this has occurred without federal mandates, which is why it is so critical that we maintain a voluntary producer-driven approach. Ms. Whitman-Stitt and Mr. Pope, in your testimonies, you both mentioned that you utilize no-till farming in your operation. South Dakota is a leader in no-till farming. Even in 2019, the wettest year on record for South Dakota, no-till farming was used to plant 50% of our state's crops, and we expect this figure to continue to rise. As we look at proposals to help facilitate farmers' access to carbon markets, could you talk about the importance of ensuring that early adopters like yourselves and the many producers across South Dakota who've already invested significant amounts of time and resources into no-till farming and other conservation practices are able to benefit from that?
Absolutely. Thank you, Senator. And as I mentioned in my testimony, early adopters is one of the hugest issues that causes concern to growers looking to get into this. Right now, everybody wants new carbon. Very few companies right now seem willing to pay for any sort of past performance, and there are huge risks with that model. Not only are you effectively penalizing those that did the right thing on their own dime in previous years, but you risk incentivizing effectively the unwinding of past practices. Bottom line is we really need Congress and USDA to step in and help provide a viable path forward for early adopters, or we risk getting left behind.
I'll echo that 100%. She's spot on as far as the question of early adopters and making sure, as I said in my testimony, I can't think of anything that would be a bigger policy mistake than not having some way to recognize those folks that have been doing good stewardship on their land for in some cases, decades. But there's also the issue, too, of recognizing that there are some folks, just because of where they're at, they're not going to be able to sequester a whole lot of carbon. You think about somebody down around Lubbock in that Golden Spread area in West Texas that's growing cotton, doing no-till, doing covers, incorporating livestock, everything we want them to do. But because they're down there, it's going to take them a heck of a long time to build organic matter compared to somebody up in, say, Iowa that's corn and bean producer. But at the same time, they're controlling soil erosion, protecting water quality, lengthening the life of that aquifer down there, conserving water, burning less diesel, multiple things that are a benefit to society. We got to have a way to recognize those guys. So yes, the issue of early adopters and the bundled benefits, the co-benefits beyond just carbon from these practices we're talking about, we need to find a home for them in policy somewhere.
Thank you. Mr. Pope, in your testimony, you mentioned the recent study that shows corn ethanol has 46% lower life cycle emissions than conventional gasoline. A 2019 USDA report suggested that improved biofuel technologies, higher crop yields per acre, and the ag conservation practices that we're discussing here today could reduce life cycle emissions by as much as 70%. Could you discuss or affirm the importance of having accurate modeling and data to make sure that we are fully recognizing the environmental contributions of biofuels?
Well, I think you said it well. I think making sure that we've got that good data, that we've got that accurate modeling that is showing what's going on. But I'd even take it a step further, Senator. I think it would be helpful for USDA to look at the suite of all the activities that have happened since the passage of the last Farm Bill and get a handle on what we're doing as far as impacting the climate, because I think there's a lot of good work that's going on out there that isn't getting credit, and I think that we need to do that because everybody likes to be recognized for the good work they're doing. But at the same time, it also helps to let people know that there is a way forward and that working together through these practices we've talked about, through these voluntary incentive-based programs, we can get a handle on it. I'd mentioned water quality in my testimony and some of the success we've seen in addressing that problem. Whether you're talking about biofuels, whether you're talking about some of these other areas of environmental improvement, I think clearly having that modeling and recognizing the good work that's being done is critical as we move forward.
Thank you. And I don't have a clock in front of me, so Madam Chair, you'll have to let me know here. I would just want to quickly touch on.
You have 20 seconds.
Okay. All right, Mr. Smallhouse is a cattle producer. I'm sure you're well aware of the recent efforts to shift U.S. consumers to fake meat products to mitigate climate change. Could you react to that and talk about some of the things that cattle producers are doing to address this issue?
Absolutely. Thank you, Senator Thune. Such a great question. The fact is shifting livestock production to other countries doesn't make any sense. America's livestock producers are the most efficient in the world. As Senator Bozeman stated in his opening comments, we produce 18% of the beef with 6% of the herd. And the fact is that beef is an affordable, easily accessible source of nutrition, high protein, low calorie, which is something that we certainly need in our communities today. And so the fact is that we've done a lot. We've reduced carbon emissions by 30% since the 1970s. So we should be rewarded for that. And the American consumer should feel happy about eating beef and other livestock products in the United States, knowing that we have done much work in the last several decades to decrease our carbon footprint.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thanks very much, Senator